Hello, beautiful yogis. Welcome to your 30-minute practice for vitality and strength. All you'll need today is a soft surface beneath you, and if you do have a yoga block handy, we will be utilizing this, especially towards the beginning of the practice. So if you don't have a block, maybe grab just something to elevate your upper body, lay upon. So go ahead and lay down on your prop. Let it open up your heart space. You can keep the knees up to sky, or you can straighten them out long in front of you. Begin to breathe into that heart cavity. Let this positioning of the body not only open up that heart chakra, but let that openness translate through your entire being. Open to receiving, open to what's to come. Just open yourself to all the goodness you can receive. All right, and slowly inching up, you can take that block and place it underneath your sacrum. So right underneath those hips, coming into supported bridge now. Noticing how the breath is feeling in this position in comparison to our heart opener. When you're ready, you can float both legs up to a reverse tabletop. On an inhale, tap one toe down. Exhale, back to reverse tabletop. Inhale, tap the toe. Exhale, tabletop. Good. Keep going like that. Matching movement with breath, engaging the lower abdominals, and you can float the arms up and reach the opposite arm as leg back towards your head, so towards the back of the mat. So finding a bit of length in this position here, further getting into the lower abdominals, adding a bit of movement to the arms. Good. Now lowering both the hands and feet down at the same time. On an inhale, go ahead and drop the feet and the hands down. Exhale, come back up to reverse tabletop. Good. So matching both sides of the body now. Going even further into those low abs. Good. Keep that breath moving. And go ahead and release both feet down. Lift up to your bridge posture and hold for a beat. And go ahead and tap that sacrum back down on your block. Good. On an inhale, reach up to your bridge pose. Exhale, back down to your surface. Inhale, bridge. Exhale, tap the hips down. Good, and coming back to reverse tabletop, tap both feet down and bridge and lower the pelvis, reach the feet back to reverse tabletop. Good, inhale, drop the feet down, exhale, bridge, inhale, tap it down. Good, and float back to your tabletop. Keep going just like that. Adding some dynamics to the movement here. Some progressions. Good. And taking that block, place it in between the inner thighs and just hold here. If you like, you can interlace the fingers to go a little bit deeper into the posture. Really squeeze that block in between the legs and release the pelvis down. Good. Now keeping that block squeeze in between the two thighs, begin to twist to one side and then the other. So getting into the obliques, keeping the legs hovered as we twist to one side and then the other. Really getting into all sides of the core. Good. Keep going just like that, twisting and hovering. Listening to the low back here, of course, and taking that block, you can place it on the shins and begin to rock and roll up. Just a few times, gaining some momentum, and eventually meeting me in a tabletop position in the center of your mat. Shoulders stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees. On an inhale, let's thread the heart space forward, cow pose. Exhale, curl into your cat spine. Bending the elbows nice and generously. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Mobilizing the spine, getting into the arms a little bit. And you can begin to add some circles. Naughty kitten, one way. And then the other, circling the hips and the head, making this feel nice and good all around the back. Good. And placing the block underneath your palms if you'd like to go a little bit deeper into your child's pose to really open up that armpit line. If that's too much for you, just simply sit back into your balasana. Breathe easy here. Feel that length in the spine. Good. Curling back up to your tabletop. Now, right hand on the block, supported side plank. Exhale, carve that left arm through that space in between your arm and your thigh in that supported side plank. Keep going just like that, curling and extending. Curling and extending. Good. And reaching towards the back of your mat. Inhale, gate pose. Feeling nice and long on the lateral line of the body there. Good. On an exhale, come back to your supported side plank. Lift that leg and begin to add circles to the leg. Good. Going one way and then reversing the direction, keeping that upper body nice and still, or as still as we can. And if you'd like, you can find a bind, reaching for that foot, slightly kicking into the hand. Breathe here. And with control, squaring off to the front of your mat whenever you are ready. And from here, we'll do some Pilates push-ups. So keeping that back leg lifted, see if we can tap the chest down and coming back up just a few times, hugging the elbow into the side body here, getting into the triceps. Go ahead and lower the leg down and we'll find our supported side plank on the other side. Left hand to block, right hand is curling up and through the negative space between the arm and the leg. Keep going just like that. Inhale to curl, exhale to extend, and reaching it back to your gate pose. Energy through the fingertips. Cartwheeling the hands back down, or just one hand coming back to that supported side plank and adding our circles. Circle the leg one way, lifting up and out from the obliques, and when you're ready, just reverse the action of your circle. Keep lifting, keep circling, and bending that heel towards the glute to then kick into the hand and finding a bind here. Beautiful. Good. And squaring off to the front of your space. Pilates push-ups now with that back leg hovered. You got it. Really testing the strength of the upper body. Keep that belly button to spine. Keep those ribs zipped together. Lovely. And sitting back to your child's pose once again. You can use your block to go a little bit deeper into the asana. Breathe nice and full. Breathe in vitality, new energy, anything else you need in this moment. When you're ready, shoot the hips up to sky, downward facing dog, hugging the chest towards the top of the thigh. Inhale, let's float that right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, carve the space, step it through in between the two hands, low lunge, Anjayasana. Exhale, back foot steps towards the front, forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, surrender to your fold and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, dive it down through prayer, forward fold. Step that same leg back, left leg to meet the right, full plank now. Take your flow, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, press back into your downward facing dog. Right away, left leg floats up, three-legged. Bend at the knee. Step it through, low lunge, Anjayasana. Good, stepping to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release into your fold. Roll up to your Tadasana, head comes up. Last inhale, high mountain. Exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Keep it moving. Lovely. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of the head comes forward. Exhale, release, fold. Step it back to the lunge, then to the plank, and finding that flow, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, press back to down dog. Good. Doing anything that feels good here. You can pedal the feet, shake the head, yes, no. Spread those toes, those fingers wide, and take as many steps as you need to meet in your fold at the top of the mat, rolling right back up to Tadasana. Good, shine the palms forward, root down into the earth with the feet, and breathe in that vitality, that newness that we want to cultivate as a collective. Coming into a lotus with the hands. Let's open and extend. Reach those arms long as you create a circle with the upper body. Good. Lotus to center, and then opening and expanding. Nice big reach. Circle it out. From here, that lotus presses up to sky. We open up the arms, find your prayer, dive it down, forward fold. Good. Stepping that left foot back, meeting in a high crescent lunge. Arms float off the mat. Ground that tailbone down towards the earth. Hands come to our lotus position. Begin to circle towards the right. Just tiny, tiny motions. Reversing the action. Really space holding that knee in front of you, making sure it's not wobbling all over the place. We want to keep it over the first two toes. Good. And when you're ready, find your flow through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, press back to your down dog. Good. Take a moment here. Hop, step, float to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, fold. Roll up to your Tadasana. Once again, find your lotus and breathe into your circle to the right. Those arms get nice and long as we come back to center. Reverse the circle, reverse that action. Good. Inhale, push that lotus up, dive it down through your prayer, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Stepping that right leg back, meeting in your high crescent lunge on the left side. Ground your energy, your body, and your breath. Lotus position at heart space. Make your tiny circle to the left. Really testing that core strength. Testing your balance as we move toward the right now. Beautiful, yogis, doing amazing. Reach the arms up, high crescent. Float them back down to the earth. Step back to your plank. Find your flow, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Hop, step, float to the top of the mat, meeting in your chair pose, Utkatasana. Elbows come to the side, body coming into perched bird, lifting the heels off the mat. Good. From chair to perched bird, just a few more times. Good. And now we'll twist to the right. Hands come to prayer. Hook that left elbow to outer right thigh. Big test of your balance. See if we can step that left foot back into your twisted lunge. That block is right there if you need it for support at any moment. Good. Hands come to prayer to third eye before we open up to sky. Now transitioning to warrior two, keep those hands in prayer. So a little funky variation of Virabhadrasana 2 here. From here, extend that top leg coming into Trikonasana, or a variation of Trikonasana. Lifting those arms up and then bending towards that back knee, coming into Skandasana, low lunge. From here, meeting in goddess squat right at the center of your mat. Hands come to prayer to third eye before we open up to sky with the hands. Bring that energy back down to your third eye before we meet in warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down towards the top of your mat and find your flow. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Beautiful. Let's take that to the other side. So meeting at the top of your mat, forward fold, and rising up, halfway lift. Exhale, release, meeting in your Utkatasana, chair pose. Holding here, we'll go right away to that twisted chair, hooking the right elbow to outer left thigh, and then take your time. Keep that core nice and strong as we step that right foot back into your twisted lunge. You got it. Keeping the gaze downward for extra balance, or maybe playing with looking up. Untwist, hands at prayer at third eye before we open the hands up to sky, and transition to your warrior two with a prayer. Bending from the obliques here, finding your triangle variation, arms extend overhead, and moving towards the back of your mat, bending generously into the knee, coming into Skandasana, really opening up the hips here. And coming into your goddess squat. See if we can do it without putting our hands on the ground. Opening the hands up to sky, moving right to the top of your mat. Warrior two, as we cartwheel down, find your flow, Vinyasa. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, make your way to down dog. Beautiful. From here, let's float that right leg up, three-legged dog. We'll bend at the knee and finding some mobility at the hip, begin to circle that leg one way and then the other. And then knee comes to chest as we step it through between the two hands. This time, let's open up to that warrior two with the hands up overhead. And we'll carry that energy all the way to the back of your mat. Warrior two, other side. Lovely. Inhale through center. Exhale, toes come in, heels come out. Through prayer, we'll dive it down to your wide-legged forward fold. Breathing into the hamstring lines. Inhale, let's come halfway lift, press into the fingertips. Exhale, down, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now reaching towards that right leg. Bend generously into the left knee as we take a nice stretch into that groin area. Good. Finding Anjayasana at the back of your mat now. Stepping back to plank, find your Vinyasa flow. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Good. Facing the back of your mat. Inhale, reach that right leg up, three-legged dog. And find the circles with that bent knee. Making this feel juicy on the hips. Good. And step it through in between the two hands. Low lunge, Anjayasana. Coming into that funky warrior two variation. Coming up through center. Exhale, warrior two towards the front of your mat now. Inhale. Let's dive it down to your Prasarita Pada Tadasana. Wide-legged forward fold. Oxygenate the body here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. On an inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, come back down to your fold. Inhale, lift the heart space up and away. Exhale, bring it back down. Good. Now reaching towards that left leg. Bending into the right. Really getting into that side body, that groin area. Enjoy this beautiful stretch. Now squaring off towards the front of your mat. Step it back to plank. Find your flow. This time we'll lower all the way down to the mat with control. And from here, we can interlace the fingers behind the bum and pressing into that heart space. Keep the head down to begin, just really opening up the shoulder. And now see if we can lift the heart space off the mat. And if we're feeling nice and strong, we can even lift those legs off the mat. Coming into a full locust posture here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Exhale, release it down. And we'll go in with that right leg to the glute, coming into a quadricep stretch. Finding a bind with the hands, breathing in and just switching sides. Getting into the other quadricep now. Just a gentle passive pull on that foot. Good. And now we'll come into a full bow pose, kicking back into both hands, lifting the heart space up and away from the earth. Breathing here, keeping the glutes strong. And now we'll surrender back down to the earth. Give your legs one final stretch before we release. And using the strength of your arms, let's press back into Balasana, child's pose. You can grab a hold of your block if you like to go a little bit deeper. Maybe standing it up a little bit taller than before, now that our bodies are nice and warm. And if this is still too much on that area of the body, always feel free to ditch that block. Beautiful. Now using that block, we'll put it right behind our wrists and use it for support in our half pigeon posture. Now this is totally optional. This is great if you are experiencing tight hips or if you just would like the earth to be a little bit further away from you. Just see how it will feel in comparison to not having a block. Yeah, and if that's not serving you today, you can always release the block. Wherever you are in your stretch, just breathe deeply into the hips. Releasing physical as well as emotional tension, as we tend to store a lot of emotional information in the hips. Good. Lifting up and away. Simply find a transition that serves you to get on to the other side. Don't worry about what it looks like. Just be safe and efficient here, making any adjustments you need, finding your half pigeon posture on the other side now. Just let it all go on your mat right here, right now. Lovely. Slowly make your way up and out of your asana. Simply swing that back leg in front of you. Release the block from out from underneath you and place it in between your legs. Good. Line it up to whereabouts you think your head will land. And before we fold, really lengthen in that lumbar spine all the way up to the crown of the head. From here, folding from the hips, resting your head on that block. See if we can keep that lumbar spine nice and long as we come into your seated forward fold. Breathe here and surrender. Lovely. Coming out of your stretch, making any adjustments for these final moments of this asana. You can bring the block towards the feet if you'd like to go a little bit deeper and just reinforce that flex of the foot. Lovely. And finally, releasing your seated forward fold. Let's roll down one vertebrae at a time, using the strength of your core, letting that head come down last. And we'll open up the legs, soles of the feet together, knees fall wide away from you, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly. Let's find a safety hold with one hand on the chest, another hand on the low belly. Begin to find a 3-part breath. Inhaling deeply, filling out the belly, expanding the ribs, puffing out the chest, and decompressing that air down the chest, the ribs, the belly. Keep going with your 3-part breath. When you're ready, you can bring the legs together and extend into your Shavasana. I invite you to remain with that safety hold, allowing the presence of your hands on your body to ground you as you drift away into your rest. I'll call you back in when it is time. Returning back to your physical body now, you may wiggle your fingers and your toes and stretch those arms long up overhead and curling on to one side into a fetal position. Remaining here, cultivating that safety, coming home to your body before we make our way up to an easy seat. Good. Let's come back to that safety hold. One hand on chest, one hand on low belly. Find your 3-part breath once again. This time, see if we can deepen the breath and slow down those exhales. Nice and full and round with your breath. And bringing the hands to prayer at heart center, let's open up into our lotus mudra here, calling in, manifesting anything that will make your life better. What would make your life better? Call it in right now, because you deserve it and you are now open to it. And the universe has your back. Let's close our lotus, seal that energy in, and find your prayer. Bow down to yourself, thanking yourself for your beautiful practice, thanking your mind, and thanking the universe for always being there with you. And I thank you as well. Beautiful practice today, yogis. Namaste. I am so grateful to have you here in my Car Yoga community. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, maybe commenting, letting me know how you did, sending you love, kisses, and blessings your way. If you are looking to deepen your yoga and meditation practice, I am accepting new private clients via Zoom. That will all be linked in the description below. Thank you once again for being here, sending you lots of love and light. Namaste. Goodbye for now, friend.